Welcome to my presentation on redesigning phonics instruction to be more interactive. This presentation will cover the problem, research, implementation choices, my choice, implementation schedule, redesigned example lesson, how can this process be used for other problems, and my reflection on the project. The problem. The problems that were identified originally were engaging students in lessons. I work with two interventions, fluency and phonics. My fluency students are engaged mostly because they are one-on-one, so this left me with phonics. While phonics is extremely important to help readers crack the code of reading, not all of my students are engaged in the program. Some students that I was thinking about in particular when coming up with this project started using this program in second grade at the basic CVC short vowel skills and moved along the continuum until they got to long vowels at the end of second grade. The problem arose when they went to third grade and we gave all of the students the phonics screener again, and these students went back to CVC or blends and did not even pass long vowels again by the end of third grade. This presented a problem and gave me a sense of urgency on how to motivate and engage students to help them maintain the skills that they have learned. The research on the annotated bibliography was a little difficult because there was not a lot of integrating technology into existing phonics programs. I did find a lot on how and why to integrate technology, phonics, motivation, engagement, and iPads. I chose to focus on engagement and motivation as well as integrating technology because these focused on my research question or problem. The implementation choices. We came up with 3 choices. The first one was goal setting. Like I said, I focused my research on motivation and engaging, and some of the motivational strategies included goal setting to give students ownership over their learning. The second choice was student publishing to reinforce the phonics skill. Some of the research I did talked about incorporating authentic reading and writing practices into lessons. I thought that this would be really easy, so one of the things I was going to do for this choice is give students 5 minutes at the end of every group so that they could blog or journal, and so I could read their writing and see how their phonics skills are going. If maybe they need to work on that long I, silent E skill a little bit more, so I will add that in for a review. Just things like that. The third choice was an instruction redesign that to make the lessons more interactive by using technology includes the goal setting and student publishing pieces of the first 2 choices. My choice was the third choice, the redesign. I felt that the key here is making the program itself more engaging, and so I wanted to redesign the components of the lesson to be integrated onto the smartboard and somehow get the smartboard lesson onto the iPads using the Bridget app. So I decided to create smartboard lessons with our phonics program, and the trick here was to make sure that all of the pieces of phonics program were part of the smartboard lesson because it's non-negotiable. We have to teach that program and we have to teach it the way that it is written. So that was my problem with this choice, was that I needed to do that. But I really thought that that was the key here to help engage students and make it more interactive. I also wanted to keep the goal setting because I really liked that it gives students ownership, and when I've done goal setting with students in the past, they've absolutely loved it. And I really liked the idea of giving students some authentic writing time, and it was something that 5 minutes every day is really easy to implement into the phonics lessons. And then there's also independent work time on days that I have to do assessments that, again, they could be doing their blogging, which I thought would be a really great way to integrate that authentic writing piece. So here's our schedule. We came up with a 4-week implementation schedule. The first week was a lot of preparation, making sure the smartboard lessons were created, making sure the apps were on the iPads and that they worked correctly, and making sure that all the Google Sheets and the blogs were all set up for students. This week, since I'm not working on the interactive lesson this week was going to be focusing on modeling with the blogs and goal setting. So each day I would do a gradual release of responsibility model with both the blogs and goal setting to get students understanding and so they know and exposed to those two things. Week 2 is when I begin teaching the phonics lessons with the smartboard and the iPads. I would continue to do the goal setting when I progress monitor and do the phonics quick checks, and they continue to do the blogs on at least on days 2, 3, and 4. On day 5 because I'll be doing the phonics quick checks. Then on week 3 is very similar to week 2, where I will have we'll continue with the interactive lessons and continue with the blogging and the goal setting. What's different in week 3 is that I'm going to introduce Powtoon. So the other piece I wanted to do was once they got comfortable with the blogging, I wanted to introduce the videos because I want them to create their own videos to show during the introduction to the new skill. So not only and it helps them create something to show me that they have an understanding of the phonics skill. So this week was just going to be me introducing how to use Powtoon and create a video while they're watching. And then they will continue to blog. Week 4, again, same interactive lesson. We've probably moved on from a different skill by this point. They'll still be, blog writing will only be on day 1 and day 5 during independent work time. During days 2, 3, 4, we're going to do the We Do of Powtoon, where we come up with our own video to do together as a group. Then, since this will continue into following weeks during the week 5, which isn't on the schedule, they would be doing their own Powtoon videos. But it will keep building so that they have more responsibility on their own to do the blogging and the Powtoon. So here are some examples of the redesigned lesson. This is finding the pattern. On the smartboard, these chips would be, you'd be able to move them. Here is another thing where it's the word sort, so they have to sort the word cards in the middle under the long I or the short I. I've taken their fluency pages that they're going to have to do and put them into the smartboard so it'll be projected on the smartboard as well as their iPads. They read those for a minute. And then there's also a word building piece with the Elkonin boxes where we stretch out words and they have to write the letters in the boxes. So how can this process be used to solve other problems? Well, the key is with that annotated bibliography. This gives you the research to support and develop your problem statement as well as your implementation choices. The problem statement helps you develop your problem into a research-backed statement instead of just saying to an administrator, this is my problem, this is what I want to do. You can develop it more clearly and it is research-backed. That's really important. The implementation choices are choices that are based in that research from your annotated bibliography. You can take that to your administrator or a team and say these are some implementation choices to help this problem. And then the team can choose whichever one that they want. While you, as the person who's kind of developed this so far, you can say, well, this is the one I would choose and this is why. It can very easily be incorporated into a team collaboration. And then the implementation schedule gives the teacher a schedule to begin implementation. You can just say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and when I'm going to do it. and then you can begin doing it. Really, this process can be used. I can't even think of any problems that it can't be used for. I'm sure there are probably some much deeper problems, but I feel that for basic problems like this project on making the phonics program more engaging, it can really help give your ideas a research base, and you can go to an administrator and say, this is my problem, this is what I would like to do, this is why I want to do it, and this is how I'm going to do it. Instead of just going and saying, this is my problem and this is what I want to do. You already have that already built in. It saves your administrator time. It's backed in that research, which is so important at this time, that it gives your administrator the idea that, hey, they've done a lot of work. Let's see what they can do and how it turns out. So, reflection on this project. It was difficult to come up with a problem that I thought would be able to be solved by technology, because I'm so tied to two interventions. I only do fluency and I only do phonics. So when, fluency, I really don't have any problems with engaging students. So that engaging students in the phonics program was basically my only choice that I could see. Now, my other problem with choosing the phonics is that it is non-negotiable. We have to use this program, and we have to use it with fidelity, meaning that we have to do it as it's written. So I had to figure out a way to integrate technology to make it more interactive while keeping the components of the program. I feel that the way I did it really should be successful, and I'm excited to try it in the fall with students. I've done smartboard lessons with phonics students before, but not using this program. I used our other program, which is just the chips, and so it was a lot easier to make it interactive. I'm really excited to do the goal setting with students. I think that when I've done it in the past, it's been really motivating and engaging for students, and I'm super excited to do the blogging and the Powtoon. And I think that both of those activities will show me that students know and understand how to use the phonics skills that they've been taught. And if they don't, that shows me that I need to do something, and I need to figure out a way to incorporate that more, maybe in reviews or something. And so it can really be used as a formative assessment tool. As for using the framework, I think it's very systematic. It's very research-based, and it will give you a leg to stand on when you go to an administrator. Like I said in the last slide, it can be used for a lot of problems. There's larger philosophical problems that you won't be able to use this framework for, but problems that arise either, classroom management or engagement or, anything that arises in your classroom that are small problems that you can solve easily. I think this project will give you this framework will give you a research-backed way of doing it. Thank you for watching this presentation.